hundreds of years ago. My guest tonight is Michelle Gallucci. Michelle Gallucci's with the wonderful team down at Lethbridge Family Services. But tonight, we're not going to talk much about, unless you want to, we're not talking much about Lethbridge Family Services. We're talking more about Michelle, the artist, the artiste.
The human.
And you actually have another Michelle Magdalene. Is that another Facebook profile?
Okay. So I call myself Michelle Magdalene because my last name is my married name, and my birth name, I feel like they're not my names, but Michelle Magdalene are my names.
Okay.
So I decided to go completely different, and that's my art name.
That's your art name.
Yeah.
Nice.
And Magdalene's my middle name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Excellent.
It's super religious.
I know that. Well, we were just comparing you with.
Yeah. Yes.
So, Michelle is a very talented artist. We have a couple of her pieces here that we're going to talk about in detail later. And then this one here actually doesn't have a hole in it here. That's where we have a green screen behind us, and so it's like, it looks like it's a hole. I don't have my 1,000 Ways hat on. I forgot my hat.
Okay, so this looks so cool, and then now it's inspiring me to maybe make holes in my paintings. But yeah, I love that there's a hole. This is actually green. There's a lot of green in this painting because I'm working on a project right now. I want to work towards a show. We're from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. I had several art shows there, and I'm working towards a show here. And I wanted to have it a little earlier, but who knows what's going to happen, right? So I'm working on what's called the Four Oceans Project. So everything is blues and greens, exactly not right for a green scheme.
Okay.
And this is abstract. I have some more literal ocean pictures. We have a mermaid to show you later. So that's my project. And it was inspired by a couple trips. So I learned how to snorkel. I snorkel now. And that happened about 4 years ago. So the first time we went was Mexico. Then when we went to Hawaii a few years ago, we went to national reserves. So it's protected ocean areas. And the people that protect it are the Four Oceans Foundation. And they not only clean up the ocean of plastic and all of that, but they make these eco-tourist spots. And I loved it. And we kayaked in. I tried to kayak. Kim and I, my husband and I, we're kayaking, and people were mocking us because we kept going in circles, and then Kim's like, Michelle, go harder, and then I'm like, stop going so fast, and it was horrible. It was horrible, but we got the hang of it. So we kayaked in, we snorkeled.
Your marriage survived the kayaking experience.
Survived. And so we snorkeled, and I was so inspired by the colors. Like, I was shocked at the colors underneath the ocean, underneath the sea. So that's why I decided to start painting my interpretation of ocean.
Nice.
All the time.
And so in Mexico and Hawaii were your two snorkeling experiences that were the inspiration for the series.
That is correct.
Right.
Yeah. In Mexico, I had a panic attack.
When you were snorkeling? Okay.
So my husband said, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And then, and so everyone kind of went, and I was like, and I had a panic attack because I was scared to breathe through the snorkel.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm a nose breather, and and so I started panicking, and then the guide helped me, and then I was fine. But I still had a problem diving. And then coming up, and you know how people blow out? No, I had to come and sputter at the top. Yeah. But it was amazing.
If you get that wrong, the when to blow and when to inhale, that's a problem, all right?
Yeah. You could drown. And so we saw all sorts of things. No mermaids. So
no mermaids. What?
No
Michelle?
mermaids.
I thought that'd be one of the 1,000 ways to kiss the earth that Ruby was talking about.
I know, but okay, talking about that.
Yes.
You feel so at one with the ocean, and it's so quiet, and it's meditative, and the fish are coming out to you, and you're just swimming. We saw a baby shark. We saw not jellyfish.
Stingray?
Stingray.
Yeah.
I was a little scared. But, you know, and we see,
They look evil. Stingrays look evil.
Evil. And people were going, "Hey, stingray!" And at first, I was just like, "I don't want to I'm swimming away." But yeah, it was amazing. And if you just sort of sit there, that you're just surrounded by fish, and then the coral and the seaweed, and everything is so brilliantly colored if you get the right day. So yeah, it was really nice.
I haven't done it very often, but I remember once that I did. It was in Hawaii, and like it seemed like the bottom was like 500 feet, and you could see all the way down. It was just like
know.
It was amazing. It's just like
it's crazy. And the one thing I didn't do, so do I wish I would have done it? I don't know. My family went fishing, snorkeling with sharks.
Oh, okay.
But not in a cage.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another reserve in Hawaii, and there's only 5 or 6 people allowed.
Okay.
And I didn't even go. Like I didn't want to, panic everybody. And then they go with a guide, and they're taught how to swim with sharks. There were like 40 sharks.
Really?
Yeah.
And so how do you prevent from not getting eaten by said sharks? How does
that
happen?
The guide was saying, and Kim told me later, that they're not interested. Also, they're well fed, and they're, and so sharks go in apparently stacks of who is the mightiest, and it goes.
Okay, they have a pecking order with the sharks.
They
yeah.
do.
Mm-hmm.
And so what they suggest is you stay on top. So you're not diving down. So you're staying on top, and then you're watching the sharks and everything like that. And then there was one big shark, like I'm thinking the king of the sharks, I don't know.
Okay.
And it had a tendency to actually and sort of
jump on top of you.
Boat.
Oh, jump on the boat.
Yeah. So then she said if she saw that there was any danger, she would gather everybody. But they were really close, and they were swimming with the sharks. And it's not like a, hey, pet, pet, pet. Like it's just swimming on top. And then, of course, but my old dude Kim was swimming off, and they would be going, Pops, come back.
He was going out of safety. He was swimming away from
But I wasn't brave enough.
No. Oh, I don't blame you. The ocean, like, I don't mind things like parachuting or bungee jumping. I'm fine with any of those things. What? Or speed or fast acceleration. I love those things. But the ocean is full of scary, crazy creatures. I like that's it's scary.
I love it.
Do you?
Yeah. We saw some like scarier looking fish. And
have you ever watched like the whole ocean ocean series on like BBC kind of a thing where there's like when you go down deep. There's some like massively crazy.
For instance, barracudas are relatively aggressive fish, and they can chomp you like a shark.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And did you see on the coast of Prince Edward Island, Newfoundland, somewhere in there, on eastern Canada, literally a couple days ago, there was a bloom of jellyfish, and there were hundreds.
Oh.
And fishermen saw them, took photos, and CTV took some footage. But what he said was they're beautiful to see. However, if you were actually in the water, you would get stung to death.
Sure, with that much venom.
Yeah.
They would,
Wow. But I love jellyfish. I love their movement,
Well, their movement is pretty amazing. It's meditative, right? To like watch out. It's very interesting. Do you meditate?
So I don't meditate because I'm a energetic person. So I know, and people
what was that?
and people have said, Michelle, you should meditate, and I've tried, and I'm disruptive to the whole class of people who I meditated with. I tried yoga. I have done Tai Chi, which is cool, but I get bored after like 15 minutes. So then I find this. When I paint, it is my meditation. And
I bet you could be there for hours and think it's minutes, right?
Ellen, I lose time.
Yeah.
And when I'm painting, also I get scooped up into that process, and the painting is painting itself, it feels like, and then I'm just like present and just with the brush or I move some paint around with drip method as well, and I have been in my studio for 7 hours and not come out for a break, and
I
can't, and it seems like 5 minutes.
But you say it's meditative, and I agree, because here's the way I think this works.
Yeah.
Mindfulness in being is meditation. Mindfulness in doing is flow, and then you're experiencing flow when you do your art, right? You're so engaged in it that you still have that mindfulness that maybe other people sit quietly to experience, but you experience it that way.
And you know, I just realized when you said that, I'm so in the moment.
Yeah.
Whereas,
well, you said you were watching yourself paint it, kind of a thing,
yes,
right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was like almost out of body, and then I'm there, but experiencing it.
Yes.
And it sounds weird, but
oh no, I get it. When
yeah.
I'm singing sometimes, because I sing a lot,
yeah.
sometimes it's just like I'm watching myself sing, right? And it's just like, it's a freaky experience,
yeah.
but it's really enjoyable if you just stay with it, right? And just like, let it go. And
I
have
love it.
Yeah.
Because I think that the brain is capable of so much more than we are knowledgeable of,
right.
but we have to allow it to happen. I have been on beautiful trips and stuff, and my mind wandered to work or something,
yes.
you know.
Yeah.
And so painting is literally the only thing that I lose myself in in the moment.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's awesome you discovered that. How long ago did you discover your love of painting, your love of creative disciplines?
So interestingly, my children are 25 and 26, and I met a group of women who were artists, and I just accidentally met them. A couple of them were neighbors, and a couple of them were in my book club. And to not go crazy when we were at home when the children were babies, and so that we just didn't drink away every single day. While the children played naked in our backyard. So, yeah. We were really
well, if they're naked, you don't have to change diapers.
Good mothers. They introduced me to painting. So I don't have a BFA, I didn't take it. But after the children were a bit older, like about 3 and 4, because we all had children at the same time, we all started going to classes. A couple of them did get their BFA and then masters after that. And so we started attending classes, and then we made a commitment to attend at least one class a year. So one class being 16 weeks or whatever.
Yeah. Cool.
So I was learning all sorts of different methodology. And then when I had done that for about 5 years, I joined a community co-op of artists in this little old house, and we would have joint shows. And so I'd have a couple pieces in there. And about 14 years ago, I had my first solo show in Saskatoon.
In Saskatoon,
yeah.
nice,
yeah.
nice. And how did that go?
Oh, really well. Yeah, I sold out.
You sold out.
Yeah.
That's what the measure of a good show is. The sales, is that sales and attendance, I guess. Right?
I didn't have big expectations, and nor do I ever, because I don't do it for sales.
Right.
So if you sell, that's super cool. And also, Kim's really happy because then we don't have 30 paintings at home. So the show was just a sharing of, and I had a wine wrap that came and poured wine, and my mom helped cater, and so it was just a sharing of my art and friends. Nice. Which is why I say I'm looking forward to it, because I invited a lot of people.
Sure.
And it was cool to sell. I don't price my paintings really high.
Yeah.
And it was cool to sell so I could buy more stuff to paint.
So you could create more.
Exactly. So it's not a money-making thing. It is literally my hobby. It is what I love to do after work, because I also love my work.
Right.
And then hopefully I can take it into retirement. I'll never become famous, but I'll always be super pleased with.
It doesn't matter, does it? I mean, if you do it and you have such that flow during that experience that you enjoy that so much, and you share it with the world, and some people like it, hallelujah, that's great, right?
Know.
I mean, the world is so busy and so full of things to like or things to engage in that, if a few people engage with what you're doing or what I'm doing or what Jesse's doing, That's awesome. I mean, that's
well,
that's
it's just
great.
like you're saying, it's
Yeah.
a passion, right?
Yeah, I love it.
And I like the visual arts.
Yes.
And I like singing. I don't sing at all. But I love music, so I often do play different music when I'm painting, and then it sometimes informs what the
art
painting
result
turns
is
out.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yes.
like with,
So what were you watching? You were painting this, or what
so
were you
this
listening?
is classical.
Classical.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. So classical, and in particular, I love cello and I love Yo-Yo Ma, and so
Whoa, what's a Yo-Yo Ma?
Yo-Yo Ma is a cellist.
A cellist. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I thought it was another instrument of some kind.
No,
Okay, Yo-Yo Ma.
and he years and years ago he got a bunch of musicians together,
Okay.
from different countries, and they traveled the Silk Road, and they called their album. I hate to say album. Songs of the Silk Road,
Okay.
1 and 2, and there's all these kind of instruments. I don't even know half these instruments, and it is beautiful music. So I'll play that.
Nice.
Yeah, not on my Discman, but I have downloaded a bunch of songs. But
You're just showing us how tech savvy you really are.
I still have a Discman. So yeah, and so this one was wet on wet. So,
Wet on wet.
Yeah. So I use a lot of water with this, and
Okay.
and a ton of paint. So when I'm starting on painting,
Okay.
I'll have an idea of what I want to do. I definitely know the colors I want to play with, and so this has a layer underneath a layer. So I'll start layering it with different paints.
So like a solid layer
Correct.
underneath? Of
Yeah.
what color is the solid
So the
layer?
solid layer is black. So
Black?
I don't know. Nope.
Nope.
So the black is underneath, and then I did bits of the light blue.
Okay.
So I knew I wanted the light blue to come out in some areas.
Right.
And then this green, which is
The hole on the...
which is super cool hole.
Yeah.
So I did a big swash of green, and so what I did is laid a lot of paint down, and then I took a squeegee and squeegeed it down. So I did that because one of my favorite painters, Gerhard Richter, does a lot of squeegee work. That's basically what he does. He does layers and layers and layers and squeegees paint off, but I wanted mine off. So that's what I did, and then I wanted...
so these are all water-based paints?
Correct.
All of it,
I
every
use
level?
acrylic.
Acrylic?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I thought acrylic was different again than oil or water-based.
What? Acrylic's water-based.
Acrylic is
Yeah,
water-based.
well,
okay.
and watercolor and acrylic, and then tempera and tempera. But I use acrylic.
Okay.
Partially, when I first started, it was cheaper, and partially because I need immediacy.
Okay.
That's just
you don't want to
me.
have to wait for stuff to...
No, I think I would be driven crazy by oil paint, honestly.
Because oil, you have to put it on and wait like 5 hours or something.
More.
More?
Oh yeah, oil is a lot of professionals use oil paint,
Okay.
and it would take days to dry for the amount of paint that I use.
Got it.
And also, but you can get drying. I think you can get drying
Fast drying?
solutions
Or dry? You spray them and they dry
something.
quicker.
Yeah, but I'm just not. So, and I'm not used to oil, and maybe someday I'll get into it. Who knows? So yeah, so then I.
But this
moved to-
medium gives you everything you need.
It gives
to,
me what I need.
Nice.
Yes, and then when I lay it down, one person said, "So you just do drip painting?" And so yes, but no, because if you see in between here, I'll move the paint around. I'll purposely drip it in a certain way in a certain dimension, and then you get accidents, amazing accidents that happen. And then
okay, so when you're dripping, with the brush you're dripping?
no,
or
I have bottles.
a bottle.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, for cake decorating, you have like these.
Yeah.
bottles.
Right.
So I mix my paints.
Yes.
So I never just use a color straight from the tube or whatever.
Right.
I like to mix my own.
Right.
I love mixing color.
Okay.
So I make my own colors, and then when I'm dripping it, then I'm dripping 3 different colors at once, which is what people do. And then I take my brush and I move it around, and then when that layer is dry, I'll probably have to go in and do more. So it's like, that's, when I say that's the process you get lost in.
Yeah.
So you're looking at it, and someone will see this as just an abstract, but I look at every corner, negative space, positive space. I look at every corner, and my eye wants to be pleased with every corner.
Got it.
And then I paint.
Is it like, isn't there normally where it wants to draw you in, like that, where a function of the painting draws you, right?
Yeah.
So when you say every corner, what do you mean? If you look at it, every corner is going to bring you to the center, or is that?
Oh, I'm sorry, no.
No. Okay.
Everywhere I look on the painting, I think yes.
Oh, okay, got it. All right, okay. This pleases me. This pleases me.
That is correct.
Okay, I see, okay.
And then sometimes I'll bring in my son. He's a manga anime excellent artist, and I'll say what's wrong or something like that. Then I take it and I look in the mirror.
Yeah.
And one of my teachers.
You look in the mirror. At your work in the mirror. Yeah, just no. Look at me.
So I take the painting and I look at it in the mirror. And one of my teachers said that. So they said, if you look at your painting in the mirror, sometimes you could see what you consider the errors or the off balance, or just have good composition. Because even abstracts have good composition.
Got it.
Yeah.
There's a symmetry you create
That
throughout
is
with the
correct.
components. Yeah.
And then the last thing I do is take a photo of it, and then I look at the photo and I stare at it and stare. I'll stare at the painting for a long time.
You know, it'd be fun if we could have your face in here. And then hold on the thing. Then we take another picture.
I could be like a little fish.
Exactly. I think it's very interesting, the creative process and how you figure it out, and you have, extreme interest in it and talent for it, right? Yeah. I took Corolla, kind of, I don't know if she dared me or whatever it was, but she was reading this book about writing from the left side of your brain, I think it was called, and the exercise was to do something when it's upside down. Right? And then
that's amazing.
Yeah. So it's just like, because I don't draw at all, right? Yeah. But then there was a thing, like I think it was a woman in a rocking chair. And so I looked at it upside down and drew what I saw upside down, and then look at it, oh shit, that's not bad, right? So if I would have just tried to draw it, I would have been frustrated, we would have been, but just kind of following the lines and that kind of a thing. And I realize that's not what you do, but it's just a way to get your brain.
No, it gives you perspective. So learning perspective is really important. If especially if you're doing realism, but I prefer abstract.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just because there's less restrictions on your creative abilities.
Yeah, and I could go into some of the abstract artists have talked about color and the dominance of color and everything. And I actually brought some pictures.
Okay.
So you've heard people go. Vasily Kandinsky is one of my heroes. And do you see this? There's a bit and the other painting. It's the other painting. So
in this painting, there's some of this in this painting. Some of
that
style.
Yeah. So he does a lot of these sort of circles inside of circles inside of circles and squares inside of. And I love that. So I did emulate that. And then. Okay, so everyone's heard of Jackson Pollock.
Nope.
No. So Jackson,
Not me.
Jackson Pollock did what people considered brilliant work.
Okay.
And this is a lot of paint. And he would drip and splatter and use the brush. And
you said you also troweled on yours as well.
Yeah, I do. And this piece.
So this is an inspiration from you, as is Vasily Kandinsky.
Yeah. And this piece is huge. His pieces are huge. This
huge, like as in 4 foot by 6 foot or something. Or?
Bigger. Bigger? I went to the MoMA a few years ago in the Museum of Modern Art in New York.
Okay.
When we could travel.
Yes.
To New York, and one of his paintings was 40 feet by.
Really?
By 30 feet. It was so big.
Wow.
Yeah. And we were standing in front of it. So I do have influences, and I don't copy them because you adopt your own style.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I wanted to say about abstract artists is you see this, and then you see
This is like Sedona, or what's that one?
this is Beatrice Modisette, and she does some dripping, and I think she maybe does live in Sedona. Maybe
Just all the red kind of made me think of that. Yeah.
And so people think that you can't draw, or you can't do, like, I can't do realism like animals or whatever, but we all learn how to draw. You draw first.
Yeah.
You know? And so I could do more realistic things, but I don't really choose to.
No, why?
Because I really do like color, and it sounds so, I don't know, ostentatious or fake.
You being the free spirit you are, I could see that realism and, these things are too restrictive.
They are restricted.
Exactly. And things have to be certain colors, whereas abstract, you could be any color you wish. That shape could be this color and swirly and do whatever, right?
So, and not to say that's not a good style, because I know Carola, your wife,
Yes.
is an excellent artist. I've seen her work, and she can do realistic looking things, right? And I maybe I can't. I don't know. Maybe with practice.
Yeah.
What do they say? Is it 10,000 hours?
I believe so. 10,000 hours is the thing. Yes.
Yeah. So
I think that's a Malcolm Gladwell thing, isn't it? 10,000
it?
hours and then you're an expert. I believe so. Yeah.
I did not know that.
I think. Corolla would know. She's read all of his books, so yeah. We could call her, but we're not good at right now.
Carola!
Call a friend.
Google that!
At home, when I'm doing my little singing show, I always have my Google Home thing there, right? And if I can't remember the song, I'll say, "Hey Google, play me." So I get this. Oh yeah, okay, stop playing, Google. Then I go ahead and sing it, right? Because I got the tune.
Do you memorize all the lyrics?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
But if you so I wanted you to sing Hallelujah, and then we had a chat about
Yes.
Katie Lang, and so if you. Do you know the tune? Could you look at the lyrics and?
Well, sort of. Yeah, if I had to, yes. So sometime to learn a song, then what I'll do is play the original, listen to the original, sing with the original a few, and then I usually print the lyrics out and see if it makes sense, because that's one thing that songs that don't make sense to me, I have a hard time learning them, because I kind of learn it in Last Kiss. Here's what happened. He takes Dad's car, he has a wreck, and he loses the love of the life. At the moment he finds her, he loses her.
That's
right?
a super sad song to mention.
It is. But there's a story, there's a flow to it, so you can follow along, right?
Yeah.
Like Hallelujah, I don't even understand what's happening in that song. I know there's a huge attraction, and it sounds like this girl kind of like is sort of a dominatrix, is that what you call it? Like she like kind of, I don't know.
Seriously, Leonard Cohen's stuff, his the lyrics or his poetry that he has put to music is powerful but odd. Like, you have to really get into that poem, because being tied to kitchen chair, which is in Hallelujah.
Exactly.
What does that mean?
And they cut his hair.
Literal, or like you said, is she domineering? Or I've often wondered that. I should look it up.
Like even American Pie, right? Mm-hmm. I know a big chunk of American Pie, but there's parts of it I don't, because fly 8 miles high and this happens. Like it doesn't have a flow for me. I don't understand the song. So
what was that? What is that song? It's something about having heroin trip.
Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
And I was like, what? I was 50 years old when I found out that's what it was. Are you kidding me?
Corolla thought it had something to do with dial soap. Lucy uses dial or something like that. Yeah, because what does this mean? Yeah.
Totally. And then someone said that to me, and I was like, it's taken me 50 years to figure that out. Oh, God. Yeah, so, and art is just, I think all art, even musical art, or it's just an interpretation of the artist. And I think a lot of abstract artists don't want to tell you what they were thinking when they did it. Right. Because I think they want you to just go, this is what I see, and then unless you see the mermaid and it's obvious, but in this one, the part that people can't see, the green, my son said, "Oh, it looks like a squished Kermit the Frog," and I'm like, "No, that's not what I was going for." But this
is an octopus, isn't it?
Yeah,
octopus inspired.
Yes,
let's put it that way.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's different things in it, and people see different things. So it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I love doing it. And then let's put up.
Okay, this one. Is that what you want to have?
Speaking of a strong woman, so I don't know why I wanted to do mermaids because. I don't know. I can't say for sure, but I don't think they're real. So we might have to hold this up first. Now this is gonna. Oh, look at how. Okay, can you even see the mermaid?
We have to bring it down just a little, I think. Doesn't have to be a little lower.
Super lots of holes. Okay, so anyway, this is her face, and then her body is in here. But this one has lots of holes because of the green screen.
Green screen, yeah.
And the red isn't really showing up. But this is what I was talking about on the side here, the Vasily Kandinsky.
That's his influence there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can just throw it here. Okay. Yeah. So I decided to, I did one painting. Oh! As you know, I did one painting with a hidden face, and nope. What's happening?
I don't know, but our $1.99 easel is failing.
Seriously! My inherited easels. We don't have to. We can just put it on the ground.
Oh.
You can't see it anyway. Nice. Look at these wiggly. Oh look. These crazy wiggly. Yeah.
Or we could put it in front, and then you talk to it in front. I don't know if the green part's still not going to show.
No, that's okay.
All right,
it's funny.
Like I thought you were going to do like the stroke by stroke analysis. Well, this part I used the number 7 brush in this matter.
With the mermaid,
let's put it up here.
I will hold it. I will just hold it.
Okay.
Because look at, and then I can point, hold and point. Can you see? If I put it down a little bit more. There we go. Can you see her? All the holes. Okay, so this is her hair.
Yeah.
And then I went from there. So I did the face, and then I decided to do super abstract body. And even when I'm doing something like even the face with the different colors, I don't want it. I want it to be abstract as well. But I do things on purpose, and so although it might seem super loose, it's not. It's not loose. It
was intentional. That's what you meant.
There's a lot of intentional stuff going on there, and I just thought that the oceans need a protectress, and so I made her it.
Nice.
Yeah.
And your 4 Oceans project, you want to raise money for ocean conservation.
Yeah.
Right?
So I want to give proceeds to. So I have 2 goals. If I sell paintings, I want just enough to buy more canvas. That's all, and then the rest will go to our 4 Oceans because not only is Lethbridge Family Services my charity, because I work there and it's my charity, and New West Theatre is my charity because I sit on the board, so I have to give to them. But the 4 Oceans we give to.
Nice.
Nice. We do. So I mean. People say that donors should choose 2 or 3 charities to really give significant amounts to, so that you're
and something aligns with what's of interest to them, what difference they want to make or see, right? So
yeah, and I was sad when I found out that the amount of plastic in the ocean.
Oh, it's incredible. It's like,
and I was sad about Canada too. So that whole fiasco with those loads of garbage
I'm sorry, I don't know about this.
containers. So Canada allegedly uses a company to ship shipping containers. So I don't know how big they're. Big.
Right. Yeah. Right? Yeah, they're usually 10 foot by 40 foot or something like that.
To other countries to dispose of the garbage, and sent it to Vietnam, I think is where it went to. It was supposed to be recycling. So when you think of recycling, you think the place that you're not going to send it to is overseas. Why would we do that? I was confused by that.
Sure.
Turns out there was garbage in those containers. That country had it for months, maybe longer. They were stinking, they were rotting, and
the shipping containers were just filled with garbage and sent to Vietnam.
Yeah, and it was supposed to be recycling, right?
Mm.
But even the recycling, so what I'm finding out is a lot of what we consider to be recycle-worthy materials are being dumped in the oceans. And so that's the problem, is that we as a society are just overusing everything.
Right.
I mean, we know that, right?
Yeah.
So we have to learn how not to. And I'm not saying society's bad or anything. I'm saying we have to learn how not to do that.
Right.
So when people say, don't use a reusable water bottle, it's because eventually our plants, our recycling plants, don't have the capacity to take in all the plastic and everything that we're using, and so then it gets dumped.
Yeah.
And that's why it was getting dumped in the ocean.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I think we just have to respect the earth, and I think that it's probably good for some of us to care about the ocean, and some people to care about the air,
Sure.
And some people to care about the forests. And how about having some famous people or actors or something care about it alongside us, and so you don't have to. It's not to say that we don't care about the earth, but we have to care about parts of it. So if we had cohorts of people, groups, caring about different areas, then I think everything would get done.
Sure,
Do you know
that
what
makes
I
sense.
mean?
You bet.
Yeah. So I wanted to care about the forest because Leonardo DiCaprio cares about the forest.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So Leonardo could hang out a little bit. Yeah. Kim would be okay with that if.
He'd be fine.
You'd be fine.
Yeah.
You'd say, Kim, he's on my list.
He's on my list.
The exception list. Yeah.
He's on my list. I think that I'm 20 some years older than Leo. So probably not gonna happen.
All right.
But yeah, so that's
his
I
loss.
just think
His loss.
his loss.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you must be quite encouraged of some of the environmental reversals that have there's the word, that have occurred since COVID, right? Where people can see the damn mountains and they can see like where
It's
waterways
cool.
have cleaned up.
It's cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I think that was pretty drastic. So staying at home was super drastic for so many reasons.
Right.
I'm not saying we shouldn't have. I'm just saying it was drastic.
Right.
So that was a drastic measures that took, and then the earth cleared off just a bit. But I think that we have to do some drastic measures to save the earth a little bit. And maybe we've relearned to do things a little differently. I'm back into the boomers, so are you, right? So we didn't grow up with environmental concerns.
Nope.
In fact,
Gas was like what, 25 cents of a gallon? Is like
so the generation, I'm going to say a little older than us, contributed a lot to environmental disasters, right? So then we have to relearn. So our generation and the millennials that we taught have to relearn how we're treating the earth. And then I think some of the kids have grown up with that knowledge already.
Right.
So yeah, and it's hard, Alan. It's hard to continually think about recycling and not purchasing goods and services that use a lot of garbage, and it's just really hard. Like I grew up with, oh, you should have a water bottle, and now it's like the plastic ones, you know.
Yeah.
And at Lethbridge Family Services, we're trying to eliminate single-use plastic, and that is tough.
Sure it is.
Like for instance, we got rid of all plastic cutlery, and we got bamboo cutlery, and the forks are sporks.
Okay.
And you can not stab them. The knives don't cut.
All right.
And everyone's just like, I'm gonna eat with my hands.
Okay, so I'm not sure if this has been a good move then. The bamboo cutlery that you can't use.
We're trying. Yeah. So, but
Do you wash the bamboo cutlery?
no.
No,
So
it's single use as well, but it's biodegradable.
It is. It's biodegradable, which is good and bad in a way too, because when you think of biodegradable, how long does it take?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
20 years?
Mhm.
Yeah. So we have regular cutlery as well. It's crazy. Anyway, going back to the Four Oceans,
Yes.
is why I wanted to raise money for it, because I wanted to give we want to give a significant gift. However, if I don't sell any, it again, it doesn't matter.
No.
My family will scrounge them off of me.
The art of creation for you. You basically want somebody to fund your addiction to art is really what you need. That's right.
I do.
Yeah. And I know this woman who has many, many horses, and she has a horse business, and it just covers her addiction is what happens, right? Can you imagine who I'm talking about?
And she when she speaks about horses, she lights up.
Oh, she
and
does.
So,
Yes.
and when you speak about music, you light up, and you can tell when someone loves something when they light up.
True.
Also, candy for me does it. So
Candy horses.
yeah.
2 glasses of wine or a little bit of candy, either way.
A lot of candy.
A lot of candy. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay, tell me about the Rumi quote.
Okay.
Now, tell me about.
Oh yes, because you're a Rumi fan.
I am.
I don't know if you remember this, Michelle. I shared that Rumi quote with you like 6 months ago.
Yes.
You and Kim were over for supper, and I shared that with you.
Yeah.
So the quote is that there are 1,000 ways to kiss the earth. It actually is, there are 1,000 ways to kneel and kiss the earth, I
Okay.
think. But I took the kneel part out because it didn't
Okay.
make sense to me.
Okay.
I have that license with lyrics as well.
You
I
might
can
have
change
to
it.
kneel first
Well, maybe.
to get down there.
All right. But anyways, there are 1,000 ways to kiss the earth. And for me, it was kind of, man, that could be anything, right?
Yeah.
But one thing it certainly can be is that for you, art is your way to kiss the earth.
Yes.
For me, singing is, for Corolla horses, those kind of things,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
These are the things that really, for you, bring you joy and something that you want to contribute to, right? That you're engaged in. So.
And then I was thinking, does contentment make you a better person? And not contentment in just the flow or whatever, but when you have a passion for something and you can do it and you can express yourself, and I believe anyone can express themselves through cooking or baking or running or whatever. I think then that you're not concentrating on maybe some things that aren't healthy behaviors.
Okay,
So
right.
I think it would behoove the world to encourage that kind of love of something.
Right. Yeah.
And now I am lucky because I also love my job.
Right.
So I'm super, super lucky. I go to a job and then Kim cooks dinner every night.
How did you get so fortunate, Michelle?
I know.
Oh my goodness.
I
Okay.
have to clean it though. And every once in a while when he's cooking and I'm like, did you have to use so many pots?
I wash the dishes at our place, and that's why sometimes Crowley gets really creative. And this amazing meal with these stuffed mushrooms and this,
Yes.
and it's awesome. But I look over, there's like pots
Yes.
like everywhere. So,
and I'm
but-
like, you have to like put water in them and let them soak for about an hour. Yeah, and then of course, and then I have my art, and I try to do a little bit of art every night.
Nice.
Like you sing every night.
I've changed it now.
Oh.
So now I'm doing it Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays on Twitch,
Okay.
and the other days except for Wednesday on Facebook Live. And then Wednesday, because I already do this show,
Yeah.
then that's enough for a day, right? So yeah.
You introduced me to Twitch. Thank
Yes.
you very much.
Oh, thanks.
And I thought that was like, I'm so cool because I'm on Twitch now, and the fact that I know the word Twitch. I mean,
Exactly. You're something.
And have you done a TikTok? Have you?
I have not. I've not done a TikTok.
You could.
Well, aren't they like really short or something? Like
They're a
20
minute.
seconds or
They're a
something?
minute, and also up to a minute.
Okay.
And also, it is kind of a younger thing.
So you're suggesting I'm not young and cool? Is that what you're suggesting?
Probably.
Michelle, I'm shocked.
So I made a video that I was going to upload to TikTok, and my son forbade me.
Oh, he said, no, this does not go.
Don't do it, Mom. Don't do it. He's going to be too embarrassed on me.
Well, can I tell you a personal embarrassment that now I have solved?
What?
During COVID times, there was months that I didn't wear pants. I just wore tights. Had tights.
Yeah.
And I wore them, and I just loved it. They're so comfy. Like women wearing tights all the time. That's like a major thing. That's incredible.
We're lucky.
Whew. So I started wearing
Yoga pants and tights.
Yoga pants. So I started wearing that kind of attire, a decent shirt,
Yeah.
but that. And then when it was like, when you have to start going out, I don't want to put pants on, right? And so I did it for a few times. Actually,
Did you see him in tights? Oh my God!
I came to pick up my flowers at LFS, right? You and Rosie are,
I did see you in tights.
Exactly. So then, but my wife and daughter just like, come on, this is not how responsible adult acts, right? I said, all right, fine. I'll wear damn pants again. Jeez. I'm not happy about it, but I'm going to do it.
Okay, I feel like if you wore tights and like clogs, you'd look really European.
True.
Right?
Right.
You just look European.
I was trying to convince her that back in the day, centuries ago, that was normal attire for men. They'd have tights and some kind of like waistcoat or something.
Puffy sleeves.
Puffy sleeves? Why should we be so restrictive? I could pull it off, but
honestly, ladies are kind of lucky.
They are. Oh man,
guys have to. Well, you could wear. I have a son that wears shorts almost all year round. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, I didn't wear them. Try these tights until Corolla got a whole bunch of them, and then she had a pair that were camel. She said, "Well, I'll try these on." I said, "I'm not trying on them." And then I tried them on. I said, "Oh, I like these. These are pretty nice." And then she had a whole bunch of other pairs, so I got them and I wear them all the time.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
you do
very
that.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I did notice you when you came in
Right.
with the tights on.
But now I am wearing pants over top, so I still have them.
I love them. Oh my gosh. So you were forced to put the pants.
I had to put the pants on. But anyways, I thought I'm weird enough already. I don't want to add to that. So
I love weird people.
Well, weird is fun, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, up to a
yes, there is a limit on the weirdness.
There's a limit.
Exactly. Apparently, my wife figured I was surpassing the limit on the weirdness with the tights. So.
Yeah, every once in a while my family will say, bring it down.
Simmer down.
Just not.
Like your son's prohibition on you posting on your TikTok video.
It was really cute, too. I was feeding a deer.
Feeding a deer?
In his front lawn. So I had an apple, and he was throwing apple pieces, and I said, I think that deer is going to eat out of my hand. And so I was like, and then everyone's like, don't feed the deers because they'll get too dependent on you. Like, and the deer came up and ate from my hand.
Why didn't you post that? That sounds lovely. Tell your son that a mother can do whatever the hell she wants.
I'm
post
almost 60 years old. As soon as I turn 60, I'm not listening to anyone.
That's it.
I'm getting to the point, though. So I'm 58, and I'm starting to budge in line.
You started budging. You're old enough. You don't have to stand in that line anymore.
Starting the budging process.
Corolla had her grandma, Oma, was like old European, like, and she would just like, she wouldn't look when she crossed streets. She wouldn't just walk right up to the front of the line. Like, it didn't matter to her. She's like,
when you have a grandma, you just let them do whatever. I don't think I'm going. So I have a Ukrainian heritage, and I don't know if I'm going babushka.
Oh, I'm not sure about the babushka thing.
I don't think I'm going to do that.
That might be a little much. Eh?
It is too much. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not going to go on TikTok. And you mentioned our loud voices.
Yes.
So that's the other thing is apparently. Allegedly, I have a loud voice, and I've been told that in restaurants. So we went to Water Tower Grill for the first time, and there's fewer people.
Right.
So your voice carries
of course.
more.
It's an acoustic problem in the room. It's nothing to do with you.
And my son was just like, And I was like,
That's
whatever.
great.
It was Father's Day, so I was celebrating,
Exactly.
Kim, and he didn't have to cook, and
Right.
I paid for it. It was
Well,
good.
Really, everybody in the room would want to know that anyways, right? So
Everyone was there for the same reason.
exactly.
Have you gone to a restaurant?
No.
Not comfortable yet?
Corolla more so than I.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been trying to be very, very diligent with like wearing masks and gloves everywhere I
Yes.
go. And not that I think it's going to protect me so much, but I believe it's a protection to the other people I meet.
What is it, Alan? Is it you wearing a mask protects other people? So
Right.
that's why you want other people to wear a mask
Right.
too.
If I wear one to protect you, you wear one to protect me.
Yes.
Well, we're like, then it can't go anywhere, right?
So
That's
you know
the reality.
Josie's?
Josie, yeah.
Yeah, I went into Josie's today.
Okay.
You have to book an appointment or stand by the door and she'll let you in. So she lets you in. She has hand sanitizer and masks right at the door. She asks politely that you wear it, and I was so impressed. Then you go through, and normally you don't want to touch up things, but you have your hand sanitizer on, and if you try anything on, she asks that you leave it in the change room, and then she'll sanitize
Oh, okay,
it.
cool,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Nice.
So it's tough for
Yeah.
people, but some people are doing a great job.
Well, they are, obviously. That's great.
Yeah.
I went and gave blood recently, and it was like, it took half the time it did before, and they were super, super
Tell me
diligent.
what happened. So you
Well,
walk in. Okay.
When you go up, first, if you're wearing a coat, you got to leave it outside. There's a rack outside.
Okay.
You can't take anything
enough.
with you.
Yeah.
Fair enough, okay. And then when you go up, they ask you the health screening questions, temperature. Well, they take your temperature with a digital thermometer. Ask you then.
Why did you go like this?
Well, they hold it up to your, up here.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, other places would be inconvenient.
Yeah.
Right? So. Oh! Anyways.
Don't.
They take your temperature. However, I think it's like this.
Okay.
And then you wear masks, you wear gloves, and then basically you don't sit around.
Did you
very
bring
much.
your own?
I did. Yeah, because
But do they give you?
Yes, they give them as well.
If you-
Matter of fact, they gave me. It was a nice, pretty red.
What?
Red mask. It's a
Nice.
beauty one, and just hooks around your ears. And quite a nice fitting one. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
And then
And then it was more because they had reduced how many people they can have in there to provide the distance, right? So then it went way quicker because they just like come in, and I was probably out of there in like, I don't know, 20 minutes maybe, where normally it's an hour for sure, right?
What?
Yeah, it was fast.
do you have O negative? Like do you,
Yeah.
yeah. So do I. Oh yeah, we've discussed this.
Yeah.
So we could give to each other. So just remember, I have O negative.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. All right.
Just in case you're.
Okay, great. I'll give you the call. Michelle, hook me up.
Hook me
Let's
up.
put a direct line.
Transfusion.
There was this guy I talked to one time, and that's what he told me about, that he gave blood via, like from his body into the person's body.
Or like a true transfusion.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Apparently. You got to get it right with the blood types, obviously. but,
Yeah.
So, but obviously that would be in very dire circumstances, right?
So how many times have you given?
117, I think.
What?
117.
Did you get your pin, like your 100?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're really good at keeping track.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. Yeah.
So, switch a subject.
Yes.
Are you going to the Gord Bamford concert?
I don't know. I saw that, though. A drive-in type concert to benefit LFS.
Plug for LFS.
Yes.
So, ATB Financial is sponsoring the drive-in concert that Gord Bamford is playing at. He's a country singer.
Yes.
So I didn't know.
I've seen him before. He's really good.
Is he good?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's a drive-in.
He's very personable as well. So.
Well, I heard an interview with him, and then his promoter was emailing me, and we have volunteers, so they have all the precautions they're giving the volunteers, masks, hand sanitizer. So they have a couple greeters, and then setup and takedown. He okayed it with Dr. Hinshaw, so everything they're doing is okayed. And all of the ticket sales is going to LFS and Woods Homes.
Wow.
So there's
how generous is that? Eh?
Well,
Ooh.
they're supporting mental health.
Yeah.
And we are definitely fundraising for mental health. So there's some.
And a huge need, right? I mean,
So
for
much.
for people of like they're in good circumstances. COVID isn't that big of a thing. Hasn't been that big of a thing,
Yeah.
right? Like depending, right?
Okay, so you don't know what's going to make you anxious. And so,
That's right, yes.
And so I feel, even though Lethbridge has been quite lucky, Lethbridge
Yes.
and area, some outbreaks, right? It had given great anxiety to some people.
Yeah.
And our waiting list went up
Right.
because people
For
needed,
counseling services at LFS.
correct, yeah.
Okay.
And so we then are fundraising for and applying for as many grants as we can, and we needed to hire more counselors and also up our tech, because you're not prepared
Oh,
for
yeah,
it.
you're
Well, no
doing
one's
everything virtually,
prepared
yeah,
for it.
yeah.
So we think that the effects of this will last for 2 years, and then a very sad side effect. So we deal with, and when I say we, I don't.
Right.
Our counseling department
Yes.
deals with family violence.
Yes.
And everyone has heard family violence has,
gee.
oh my gosh, has gone up.
Yes.
And so also we're dealing with that. So
Got it.
I'm so proud of our department. They're so hardworking.
LFS does incredible work. How to get people get tickets for the Gord Bamford thing? We just got the sign. We're running out of time here.
I can't believe it.
I know.
GordBamford.com.
Perfect. I got a quick song and then we're out of here.
Yes.
Do you know who Paul Thorne is? Have I ever told you Paul Thorne?
No. I'm sorry.
Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Get you a healing from the Get you a healing from the bottom of your heart. Get you a healing, and it's the only place to start. Fix all the problems with the people that you know. Get you a healing, and then let your loving show. Get you a healing for your body and your soul. Get you a healing, and it's good for young, it's good for old. Fix all the problems with the people that you know. Get you a healing, and then let your loving show. Get you a healing by learning how to share. Get you a healing and by showing that you care. Show them that you love them by really being there. Get you a healing and it's like breathing fresh air. Get you a healing for your body and your soul. Get you a healing and it's good for young, it's good for old. Fix all the problems with the people that you know. Get you a healing and then let your loving show. And get you a healing and then let your loving show.
Oh my gosh, you're singing at my art show.
All right, I'm there.
Yay!
All right, we're out of here, Jesse. Thank you very much for watching 1,000 Ways with
Yay!
Michelle Bellucci.